I wanted to start out with a pro tip. Do not hike the upper falls of Yosemite before AIPCon. Do it afterwards. I'm hoping that my legs will handle here as we go forward. Anyway, it's great to be back. We were here about a year ago. I think we shocked some people in some of our presentation. Hopefully what we're going to show you today is just going to be the progression of what we have achieved over this past year. We've been partners with Palantir for about 2.5 years. We really upped the partnership about a year ago. We call it P squared, so it's Parexel and Palantir. And I definitely want to call a shout out to both the Palantir team and also Martin Keywood over here, who is one of our just amazing developers that we have. Hopefully in the demo that I get to here in a little bit, you guys will be able to see some of the work that's been done there. So Parexel, we run clinical trials. Regulated process of testing new medicine in human patients for our clients in biopharma. An important thing to think about is either you're going to be a patient, you know a patient, or in some way or another it's going to end up for that. So as we run clinical trials, the number one thing we do is patient safety. So the project we're going to demo you today is our work in bringing production clinical submission assets into the AI age, which we call our next generation clinical platform. Fundamentally, what our business produces for our clients is a giant submission package that contains all the data and documentation about a clinical trial for regulators to review. If you're not familiar with a clinical trial, there can be hundreds of sites, hundreds of patients, all the visits that occur. We're collecting all of that data, processing that data. Typically, the way we do it is with multiple statisticians as we go forward. We're going to change the entire paradigm, and we're going to show you that in a demo. So what we've done with AIP is taken the diversified set of inputs, long PDFs, which I'll show you here, which is the protocol, typically hundreds of pages, and automated them with a human in the loop. Everything that we've done is human in the loop. It's an especially hard task because quality and traceability is non-negotiable for us. That goes back to patient safety. So the application is the tool we've built to guide the study team along the automated process, letting them tap in only when expert guidance is needed. Every study has a protocol, specifications from Excel files and text files, and electronic forms used for data capture. Before AIP, subject matter experts reviewed each of these inputs and manually authored or programmed the data sets into a submission package. We have about 1,500 individuals that do this work in our company. So I'm going to start the video. Here we go. To automate the process of producing our submission deliverables, tabular data sets, annotated documents, and reproducible code, we've orchestrated a series of agents to handle components of this process. First, our agents abstract the hundreds of pages. You see a protocol here. Hundreds of pages of documents and other leveraging language models to automatically extract and build a centralized study ontology. More ontologies that everybody's talked about. Then they build the data model that describes the exact format we expect in our regulated output, and finally the agents orchestrate the generations of the output. Let the demo run here a little bit. So here's the generation of the outputs. So again, all of this was done manually by individuals in our workforce prior to rolling out this model. So here you have the abstracting inputs, the building the data model, and building the outputs of the demo. Go to the second part. What's especially important for us is that we're able to trace exactly how every data point was produced. Using our inputs to this automation process, the blank forms, our agents first annotate the mapping of information, what information should end up where, and then actually map live study data into the forms themselves. Because quality is non-negotiable, we of course have a human in the loop to override any LLM decisions. Here's the annotations coming through in the demo. Even with the human in the loop, we still leverage LLMs to guide our experts through fixing these misses. For each missed mapping, an agent has looked across the library of both our users and agents' previous mappings to suggest a fix. So again, it's fully automating the process with a human in the loop. Let's not forget about that. So here we're going through a recommended fix and actually annotating the fix. Almost done. All right, so what's the impact of this? We estimate that this solution reduces our time to submission-ready materials by over 50%, from the current 10 to 12-week average to around 3 to 4 weeks, with minimal efforts needed to refresh SDTM data based on updated source data cuts. So if you think about it, we can create this process, manage the process, standardize it for all our development, and cut half the time that is required to get there. So then if you move forward, the study is going to finish quicker. We're going to get patients on drugs sooner, which again is going to help everybody in this room and actually everybody that we know. So earlier access to standardized submission-ready data will accelerate improved downstream operations, producing better first-time quality, earlier data to support safety trend signaling, and medical reviews. So you can look at the data sooner in the process so we can understand even the efficacy of the product as it's going through the clinical trial. In the end, this translates to faster time to market for our biopharmaceutical companies. So here's the future, here's the end. Future we see with Palantir is leveraging AIP to build a connected clinical trial ecosystem. An ecosystem that puts the patient first, creates reproducible process flows that trace an end-to-end continuum of care. Sorry about that. With this, I'll wrap it up. Thank you very much. We're going to be back next year with more. Appreciate it.